Jo Ah-han was genuinely curious about the newly appeared character. She had thought Kang Hee-young would show up, but a new character had emerged, so her journey home would probably be a little longer. He was Jong Eun-jae, 18 years old, a student at Gongo School, and Kang Hee-young's rival. The gang of thugs, now with bleeding noses, exclaimed in fear, "Ae, Eun-jae." Jong jumped down from the wall, landing gracefully like a cat, and smirked coldly, "Are you trying to harass her?" The chubby leader stuttered, "Yes, she's Kang Hee-young's girlfriend." Jong replied coldly, I don't like doing that." They tried to explain, "We." The teenager chuckled and reiterated, "I said I don't like it." At this point, they ran away, leaving behind apologies, "I'm sorry." Jo Ah-han looked at their embarrassed faces, and thought to herself, look at how pitifully those NPCs run. Then she turned back to the guy in front of her and said cheerfully, "Thank you." Eun-jae picked up his broken guitar and sighed, "My guitar is broken now," with a gloomy look in his eyes. Jo Ah-han eagerly suggested, "I'll buy you a new one," but then remembered she didn't have any money. She quickly corrected herself, "I mean, why did you throw it away like that?" Eun-jae continued sadly, "I had to save money for 3 months to buy it." Jo Ah-han looked at his pitiful expression for a moment and then stepped forward to comfort him, "All right, I'll find a way to get it back for you." His eyes lit up immediately, "Really? Then be my underling until you get me a new guitar." "Underling?" Jo Ah-han was surprised. "Yes. Underling. Whatever I say, you do, like watching the movie Do-Do-Do." Jo Ah-han felt hesitant about this task. "Watching a little dear Do-Do-Do?" Eun-jae smiled and said, "Yeah, it's my favorite animated movie, but no one wants to watch it with me." "Will you watch it with me?" Jo Ah-han patiently observed and evaluated. He seemed as innocent as a child but also had his own troubles. An 18-year-old boy who loved a movie about a little deer? She comforted herself, "But now I'm indebted to him, so." "I'm sorry, it's all my fault." Then she quickly nodded, "All right, let's go watch it then," as decided. "Oh, can I ask you something?" He replied cheerfully, "What?" Jo Ah-han hesitated and said, "Where is Carpe Diem?" "It's right ahead, that's the little hero's guide." Eun-jae asked, "But why are we going there?" Jo Ah-han replied honestly, "My little brother got drunk, so I have to pick him up." "What?" Eun-jae exclaimed in surprise. "Your little brother?" Jo Ah-han asked him, "Do you know Jo Hae-nam?" "Yeah, I hate him." Eun-jae replied candidly. He explained that he and Jo Ah-han's little brother used to fight a lot in middle school. He asked Jo Ah-han, "Are you Jo Ah-han?" And Jo Ah-han didn't bother hiding her identity, confirming it immediately. "Oh, I remember now. Go ahead." Eun-jae cheerfully left. Jo Ah-han waved goodbye to him with the gentlest demeanor. A voice called Jo Ah-han, "Big sister, over here." "Hello," she replied calmly. Jo Ah-han probably remembered this boy. This was Se-hyun, JHN's friend. He immediately asked Jo Ah-han, "Big sister, you were just talking to Eun-jae from Gongo School, right? Do you know that scoundrel?" Jo Ah-han gasped in surprise, "Yes, why?" Se-hyun frowned and warned, "Don't get too close to him, he's dangerous." Jo Ah-han thought, "Try putting yourself in my shoes, I'm the one who wants to stay away from you the most." Thinking so, but Jo Ah-han still bent down to check on her little brother, who was completely drunk and clueless. Se-hyun explained that he got rejected by a girl named Jong Da-hai, she liked someone else. Well, this detail doesn't seem surprising to Jo Ah-han. She shrugged her shoulders and said, "Quiet and stand up straight, I'll take you home, you're about to pass out." Suddenly, she froze, eyes wide with surprise. In front of her was Kang Hee-young, and 2 beautiful girls beside him seemed quite intimate. One of the girls asked him, "Tell me, Hee-young, is the rumor about you having a girlfriend a lie?" Jo Ah-han could hear his answer clearly from a short distance away, "It's true." Jo Ah-han thought, "He didn't show up when I needed him, why is he here now? And with a bunch of NPCs too." Jo Ah-han saw the 2 girls clinging to Hee-young and said, "Really? She goes to which school?" Hee-young didn't respond, paused for a second, then stared at the girl in front of him. It was Jo Ah-han and a drunken stranger. The girl with him noticed Hee-young's hesitation and asked, "Do you know her?" But with a cold look in his eyes, Hee-young just glanced at Jo Ah-han and continued walking immediately, saying, "No, I don't know her." Jo Ah-han looked at his attitude, feeling a bit disappointed, and thought as she watched him walk away, "What's going on with him? I'm starting to feel annoyed. But let's leave that for later. I should go home first, I'm exhausted. The next day, at school, a new note appeared. Jo Ah-han read it and began to deduce, it seems like the conditions to start the plot are complete. Each line of instruction made her focus and truly serious. At that moment, the phone rang in Jo Ah-han's pocket, and she picked up and waited. The voice on the other end was her younger brother, eagerly asking, it's me, do you know Jong Eun-jae? Jo Ah-han curiously asked, why? He hurriedly continued, that jerk came around here asking me where your school is. Suddenly, he exclaimed, oh, never mind, just, wait a second, don't. Jo Ah-han remained silent, listening to his rambling and pondering a few things. Suddenly, a lively girl walked in, her enthusiastic voice distracting her. The girl hugged Jo Ah-han and said, Ah-han, hurry up and pack your things, go meet your boyfriend already. Jo Ah-han sighed, Kang Hee-young won't come today. The disappointed girl asked again, huh? Why? Even that cute blonde won't come? Jo Ah-han chuckled softly in response, yeah, he won't come. She wondered if she should tell her friend about last night's events. Jo Ah-han spoke slowly, there was something last night. And then the story was laid out almost entirely. The girl was shocked and furious, damn it. Is he crazy? How dare he treat you like that? Hee-young, that damn guy. Jo Ah-han remained silent, but it seemed like what her best friend said resonated with her. When asked if they were going to break up, Jo Ah-han seemed hesitant, saying, I don't know anymore. Jo Ah-han felt a bit regretful when thinking about it, she hadn't imagined things would come to this. The two girls left with the stories continuing indefinitely. Her best friend comforted Jo Ah-han, it's okay, I don't like him either, he's just handsome, his personality is unbearable. Jo Ah-han thought to herself, you're lying, you just need a handsome face. Her friend continued, actually, I know someone named Jong Eun-jae, I've seen him in the city center a few times, and he's even more handsome than Hee-young. Jo Ah-han nodded in agreement, he's really handsome. The lip-curled girl asked again, huh? Jo Ah-han didn't understand the meaning behind her introducing a stranger hot boy she had seen. Suddenly, from afar, there was a loud call, my vassal, I'm here. A delighted face turned towards Jo Ah-han, waving at her. He was standing next to a really cool motorcycle, that deadly weapon, along with his stunning physique, could make any woman swoon. The lip-curled girl looked at him in surprise, almost popping her eyes out, yelling loudly, what, Jong Eun-jae? Your vassal? Did he just call you? Ah-han. Jo Ah-han frowned, not really liking this cool image. As he approached closer, Jong Eun-jae cheerfully said to Jo Ah-han, my vassal, let's go see the little dear Dududu together. Jo Ah-han pondered slowly, looking at the young man in front of her, feeling quite warm inside. She realized the hints in this story that she needed Jong Eun-jae on her journey back home, and she murmured softly with a satisfied smile, because... And responding to Jong Eun-jae, yeah, let's go. As she walked, she recalled the words on the paper, the battle begins. It must be a battle among the boys stirred up by Jo Ah-han. She remembered that in this story, the dialogue the battle begins referred to the fight between the gangs at Sanggo and Gonggo High School. They would rush in, brawl, and shout loudly like that. She looked back at the warm eyes of the boy in front of her, feeling confident, and she had no choice but to ignite that battle. And she firmly turned back to instruct her best friend, Soyoung, I'm sorry I can't go with you today. The lip-curled girl was surprised once again, saying, I can't believe it, that's really Jong Eun-jae. Jo Ah-han simply said, yeah, that's right. Soyoung whispered to Jo Ah-han, I support you, go. If you date Jong Eun-jae successfully, you'll become famous. She was such an adorable girl, Jo Ah-han knew that. However, she sighed and thought to herself, too bad that won't happen because our fate has been decided. Meanwhile, Jong Eun-jae urged Jo Ah-han, my vassal, let's go, hurry up. That gentle and innocent look made Jo Ah-han not want to get angry, but she didn't want to ride on that motorcycle. She sternly asked, do you have a driver's license? Jae was quite surprised, asking back, a driver's license? Jo Ah-han quickly added, well, yes and no, how could a driver's license be given to someone under 18 years old? Jae smiled confidently, saying, don't worry, I've never caused an accident. But Jo Ah-han wasn't finished, she sternly said, furthermore, I hope you know that you can only drive in the right lane on two-way streets. There are clearly marked lanes for different types of vehicles, yet you parked your motorcycle in the pedestrian lane. And moreover, you're not wearing a helmet, so if you have an accident, your head will shatter. I guess dying young and painfully is your life goal, huh? The coldness in Joa Han's words astonished Jong Eun-jae. He listened wide-eyed, then admirably said, "Wow, I've never heard anyone say that before." Joa Han decisively decided, "Anyway, I won't ride on a motorcycle with you." Jae didn't insist on anything, he nodded cheerfully, "Okay, let's walk then." As they walked, they chatted happily. Joa Han asked, "Are there any movie theaters around here?" Jae was surprised, saying, "Yes. But how come you don't know the way around here? Don't you have any friends?" Joa Han replied, "Just one." He proudly boasted that he had many friends, saying that all the students in school uniforms were his friends. Joa Han tilted her head as she walked, wondering why she hadn't run into Kang Hee-young yet. They were supposed to meet, right? She would have to postpone meeting him for as long as possible. Joa Han quickly came up with a plan, telling Jong Eun-jae, "Let's find somewhere to eat first, okay? I'm a bit hungry." Jae asked, "Are you hungry?" Then he grabbed her hand excitedly, "Let's go have a hamburger." Joa Han frowned, feeling disgusted by being held tightly by both the main character and a supporting character like that. And finally, as they just passed through a small alley, Kang Hee-young appeared. Joa Han widened her eyes, feeling as if she had found what she had been waiting for, a gentle look. She thought excitedly, just as I held his hand, he appeared. In front of her and Jong Eun-jae, there wasn't just Hee-young, but also the students from Sango High School. Jae teased provocatively, "Oh, aren't you the guy I defeated before? How's your arm, is it okay?" The guy next to Hee-young immediately shouted, "You jerk. Kang Hee-young, what should we do with this dead dog?" Hee-young had been staring at Joa Han all this time, only coldly saying, "Let her go." Jae pretended not to hear, smiling at Joa Han, "My vassal, should we have grilled pork ribs instead of hamburgers?" Hee-young, with an angry face, reminded him sharply, "Let her go." Joa Han said nothing, feeling quite fine seeing Hee-young angry, just as she calculated. But Jong Eun-jae continued to provoke, "What if I don't want to?" He tightened his grip on Joa Han's hand even more. Hee-young growled, "Joa Han, come here." Jae said, "Who do you think you are?" Hee-young replied, "She's my girlfriend." And Joa Han felt quite troubled standing between them, thinking she might die of exhaustion here, praying to God to have mercy on this child. Jae asked her in surprise, "Are you really his girlfriend?" Joa Han calmly pondered a new plan, hesitating, "Hold on, in this situation, what should I do to ignite the battle? What should I do? I'll act like any other female lead." She decisively told Hee-young, "Yesterday you pretended not to know me." Hanyul sadly exclaimed, "Joa Han, you're too ruthless, you don't know what Hee-young had to do today because of you." Kang Hee-young immediately snarled, "Lee Hanyul, be quiet." He quickly approached, passing Jong Eun-jae coldly, asking her, "How many more boyfriends do you have?" Joa Han was quite annoyed by that question, wrinkling her face in thought, "What are you talking about? There are only two." Hee-young glanced at Jong Eun-jae with resentment and said angrily, "Come with me, let's settle what we left unfinished 3 months ago." He emphasized, "You will pay for what your friend had to endure back then." Jong Eun-jae smirked, "I guess you're quite brave to come all the way here just to defeat me. Seems like you really miss the hospital food, huh?" Then he turned back to Joa Han and said, "My vassal, I think we should reschedule our movie date for Dear." Joa Han now felt quite tense because of the situation she created, softly saying, Don't go, what if you get hurt?" However, with the mindset of someone behind the scenes, she secretly anticipated the battle. "Yeah, let's fight." Jong Eun-jae waved to Joa Han and added some advice, "Don't worry, go home, I'm very good at this." Seeing the group of people walking away to another meeting place, Choi Rana smiled, just as the story had predetermined. Step 1 was completed. Next, she would make this battle even more massive. She quickly ran as fast as she could. Joa Han spotted 2 students from Gongo High School. She ran up to them, panting, and asked them, "Excuse me, do you know Jong Eun-jae?" Of course, they said they were his friends. Joa Han informed them, Eun-jae was just taken by students from Sango High School, call his friends. Immediately, the mighty army was mobilized for the conquest. The Gongo soldiers shouted in anger, "How dare those Sango scumbags touch Eun-jae?" Jo Ah-han recognized the troublemaker from yesterday, but they were just a foolish supporting actor, useful for her goal. The guy also recognized Jo Ah-han. He asked, "Huh? You're Kang Hee-young's girlfriend, aren't you on his side?" Jo Ah-han enthusiastically led the way for them, "Over here." She continued, "Not anymore, now Jong Eun-jae is my friend. And Sango High School took him away." He acquiesced, "If you're Eun-jae's friend, then you're our friend too. Lead us there." With an anxious expression, Jo Ah-han said, "Do you know the vacant lot behind the school where you usually fight? Let's go there." She ran ahead to the vacant lot, hoping everything would go smoothly. "I'll be home soon." The vacant lot, a suitable place for gang fights. It could also be an abandoned house, a garbage disposal area, or a construction site. Currently, Jong Eun-jae and Kang Hee-young were there, along with Hee-young's followers. Hee-young was holding Eun-jae's collar, and Jo Ah-han ran up and shouted loudly, "Kang Hee-young." She looked quite tense at the dangerous situation. Both Hee-young and Jong Eun-jae turned to look at her. At this moment, Jong Eun-jae's friends also arrived, angrily shouting, "You Sango jerks! Are you ready?" The battle began. That was the content of the note that Jo Ah-han was holding. She silently rejoiced, "Success, success. In the end, it doesn't matter who wins or loses, as long as I get home." The note is starting to disappear. However, at that moment, she caught Hee-young's eyes staring at her in shock and pain. Those eyes made Jo Ah-han pause. She whispered to herself, "What? Why are you looking at me like that?" But in that decisive moment, she rushed towards the flying paper, just following it. Jo Ah-han tried to push away all other thoughts. She needed to get home. The world spun around again. Jo Ah-han spun in the dark space, and then opened her eyes on her own bed, in her 37-year-old self's house. Choi Ran-ah looked in the mirror, satisfied with her real image in it, whispering to herself, "It's over. I'm back. I'm back, but..." Choi Ran-ah naively wondered, "So does that mean I have to go to work again?" The female director walked with authority to her company. With a troubled face, contrasting with her virtual space, she didn't need to do anything. Choi Ran-ah's face darkened as she sighed, "But what can I do now? I'm the director, so I have to go to work." She thought of the pressures she was enduring. Why did I end up in this situation? Remembering the scene of her ex-boyfriend's mother causing a scene at the company yesterday, she felt quite tired. Choi Ran-ah stood outside the hallway, hesitating to enter the office. "I'm not sure if I'm ready to face the employees yet." Then she gathered her courage, turned the doorknob, and stepped inside. Pop! A burst of confetti exploded, raining down on her head with colorful paper bits. "Well, what a surprising welcome, how wonderful." The employees cheered, "Congratulations, boss. Happy 10th anniversary." Choi Ran-ah, full of suspicion, asked, "What's all this?" The employees cheerfully explained, "Today is the 10th anniversary of the boss's debut work. We've been preparing this since early morning." "Is it today?" Choi Ran-ah tried to remember. The assistant said, "The boss has been working so diligently that she forgot all about time." "Blow out the candle, boss." Phew. Choi Ran-ah followed the employees' instructions. They were so cheerful and adorable. It was a far cry from her worries before entering. Then the small party ended. In her office, Choi Ran-ah sat back and reflected on her career. "Wow, it's been 10 years already. My ex-boyfriend's mother remarried when I was 19. And since then, I changed my name from Jia Ran to Choi Ran-ah. Then at 20, I got into university and joined the literature department, starting to write seriously." Choi Ran-ah remembered a time when she overheard some friends chatting. "Did you see that new aptitude test recently? I'm really bad at spelling, I even thought it was Jo Ah-han." "Ha ha ha, isn't that a bit too much?" Jo Ah-han is something else entirely. Choi Ran-ah hesitantly asked, "What happened to Jo Ah-han?" A friend replied, "Basically, she's the queen of language destruction online. I heard she sold 500,000 copies of that novel. But does she know she's just polluting literature with that pile of stories? I feel really ashamed when I see that." That's when Choi Ran-ah realized how bad her skills were. She bowed her head in embarrassment, stepped back a few steps, and solemnly thought about her work. Two friends called her, "Ah Ran, aren't you coming?" Choi Ran-ah startled and followed, "Oh, yes, I'm coming." Since then, Choi Ran-ah understood that Jo Ah-han was a reminder of her career. And then, a few years after graduating from university, I found myself unemployed, competing in youth literary competitions and magazine writing contests with a few short stories. Ironically, thanks to the money earned from the novel under the pen name Joa Han, I could focus on writing without worrying about living expenses for a long time. I remember vividly the moment when I was sitting idly in my room, my phone buzzed with the notification that I had won the magazine writing contest for new authors. I was ecstatic. The reason I could debut as a new author so early was because I was Joa Han. 10 years after that debut, Choi Ran-ah felt grateful that her colleagues remembered and organized a small party for her. She had even forgotten about the event herself. She held the computer mouse, starting to figure out who would be available tomorrow night, and she would invite them for a dinner with some delicious dishes. In the group chat, messages appeared, "It's right outside the delivery room, guess who its owner is?" Okay. Please check the web design carefully. Choi Ran-ah was reading messages from various departments in the company. She was also about to send a message, "Is anyone free tonight? I'll treat everyone to a meal?" But before she could send it, a message from the finance department was sent to the group. "If that's the mother-in-law, I guess ending this marriage is the best thing, but I still feel sorry for the boss." Choi Ran-ah's message was not sent, and some mistakenly sent messages from other departments were immediately recalled. However, it still managed to make Choi Ran-ah feel down. She decided she would invite them on another day. The assistant came into the room, carrying a cute gift box tied with a ribbon, and he happily said, "Boss, this is your gift." The whole team prepared it together. Choi Ran-ah also tried to put on a happy face and said, "Thank you all so much. Tomorrow noon, I'll treat everyone to lunch." "Really?" the assistant exclaimed, "We're really looking forward to it." Choi Ran-ah smiled gently, "Yes, today everyone can leave early." In the gift box were 2 bottles of fine wine. Choi Ran-ah looked at her phone's contact list, pondering, who should I drink with? But among her friends, one had just gotten married, another wouldn't be able to come because of a newborn, and she hadn't been in touch with other friends for quite some time. And Choi Ran-ah scrolled through her call history, there were no outgoing calls. Well, then I'll just grill steak and drink alone, Choi Ran-ah consoled herself and left. At the convenience store under the building, Choi Ran-ah shopped alone for a few simple things for her solo life, surrounded by couples or families shopping together, looking so happy. Choi Ran-ah was preparing to feel down when a call came in. Who's that? You see a one? Her ex-boyfriend called, and Choi Ran-ah decisively declined, "Even if I have no one to drink with, I still won't go eat with him." Choi Ran-ah walked while looking at her phone screen. It was a message from him, "I'm sorry my mom came looking for you, I want to talk to you for a bit." Choi Ran-ah reminded herself, if he really feels sorry, he should disappear from my life immediately. With a satisfied expression, she deleted that message right away. Suddenly, a car headlight shone brightly in her face. The distance was too close for Choi Ran-ah to react. She opened her eyes wide, looking at the car rushing towards her. There was no miracle happening. Bang! The phone was thrown up into the air, the food she just bought scattered, blood dripping. Ah, today is truly a terrible day. I didn't expect this to be how my life ends. Choi Ran-ah's eyes slowly closed, and those were her last thoughts. But wait, why is space spinning again? Is everything not over yet? Choi Ran-ah wondered. She was brought back to that place again. Bam, 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 the sounds of consecutive scuffles echoed loudly. Joa Han opened her eyes wide. She was back in Cheonyang again, her eyes wide with shock. Joa Han lifted her hand. The paper that had flown from her hand just now was right back. But why are they still here? Joa Han wondered. Joa Han opened his eyes wide, looking at the chaotic scene caused by her, before she returned. Hee-young was punching a member of the Gongo faction. Joa Han quickly assessed the situation as she left. Things would be resolved if the two of them fought each other instead of fighting with such minor characters. Is that why I had to come back here, because those two still haven't determined a winner? But is my body okay in the real world? Joa Han's eyes widened in horror at the thought, what will happen when I actually die there? I have to return quickly. The piece of paper, hasn't it appeared yet? Joa Han hurriedly searched his pocket. Oh, there it is. But as soon as he pulled the paper out of his coat pocket, it was immediately blown away by the wind. Joa Han panicked and shouted, chasing after it, what? Why did it fly there? The piece of paper fluttered towards the melee. On the battlefield, Kang Hee-young was still fiercely attacking, foolish opponents continuously being defeated by the main character. Suddenly, from behind, a stick flew towards him at the speed of light. Kang Hee-young only had time to widen his eyes and await the price of being a hero. At that moment, the piece of paper flew between Kang Hee-young and a Gonga warrior. Jo Ah-han thought of nothing but catching it, rushing forward at full speed. The Gonga warrior recognized Jae's new companion, hesitating, "What's this?" And he made an effort to hold the stick back to lessen its impact. Thunk. Hee-young's disappointed cry echoed, "Jo Ah-han, move." But it was too late, she gaped in horror as disaster struck. Today, she had suffered 2 accidents, it truly was too long a day, she sighed silently and slowly closed her eyes again. A long time later, Jo Ah-han woke up, still not fully alert, and wondered, where am I and who am I? Where am I now? Jo Ah-han didn't know anything, he really wanted to know what had happened, but his throat felt blocked. The smell of antiseptic stung his nose. He slowly opened his eyes, and the first thing he saw was the faint white ceiling. Then came blurry images and the sound of a baby duckling chirping, "Ah-han, you're finally awake." Jo Ah-han spoke slowly, "So young, where am I?" The little girl said, "Where else could you be? Of course it's the hospital." "Do you know how scared I was when I got the call?" Jo Ah-han asked, "How did you know to come here?" "It was Hanyul who called me," she replied. "Where's Kang Hee-young?" Jo Ah-han asked weakly. The little duckling scolded, "That idiot. Even if you like a guy so much, don't jump into a fight for him." Jo Ah-han asked, "Why not?" Soyoung eagerly said, "Don't you remember? I heard you jumped into the fight and took a blow for Kang Hee-young." Jo Ah-han felt quite miserable, silently blaming himself, "Huh? Did I take a blow for him?" She looked down at her current situation, "Huh? Where's my uniform?" Soyoung said it was stained with blood, so they took it off and washed it. Jo Ah-han panicked, "Did you see anything in my coat pocket? Like a piece of paper?" The little girl widened her eyes in surprise and replied, "No, I didn't see anything." Jo Ah-han bowed his head sadly, "I see." She wondered, wasn't there any piece of paper? The duckling said, "Oh, I called your family." At that moment, a knock sounded on the door, and a trembling hand pushed it open. A cheerful voice chimed in, "Hey, witch." Jo Ah-han was about to retort to her best friend, "Hey, why are you calling that devil?" But the little duckling was too busy admiring herself in the mirror and adjusting her appearance. Then she turned back, beaming at the young man who had just entered, "Hello, Haenam." The main character's younger brother, with his cool appearance, successfully attracted our supporting female character. As the script often goes, the girl really liked handsome guys. "Hi, Soyoung," Haenam exclaimed to her. The duckling excitedly said to Haenam, "You still look handsome, huh?" Haenam smiled at her, "And you, Nuna, you're still as reliable as ever." Then he eagerly asked his older sister, "Which? What happened to you? Did you really take on 17 guys alone?" Jo Ah-han thought irritably to herself, Soyoung really exaggerated things with him. She instructed her younger brother, "You just tell our parents that I fell down the stairs." Haenam asked, "So why would a role model like you get into a fight?" The duckling interrupted, "She got dragged into her boyfriend's fight." Haenam's eyes widened in shock, "What? A boyfriend? You have a boyfriend too? Is this for real or just a joke?" Soyoung continued to narrate, "It's true. Ah-han has a boyfriend now, he goes to your school too." "Really? You're not kidding, are you? What's his name?" "Kang Hee-young, a sophomore at your school." Jo Ah-han remained silent amidst their conversation. Haenam was stunned to hear the name Kang Hee-young. He fell silent for a moment before saying, "Oh, really?" Jo Ah-han could sense her younger brother's skeptical expression. It wasn't until Soyoung confirmed once again that it was true that he exclaimed, "Do you think I'm a fool? In this city, there's even a truckload of girls claiming to be Kang Hee-young's girlfriend." Jo Ah-han curiously asked, "Do you know Hee-young?" "Of course, everyone at our school knows him." He added, "Come to think of it, something strange happened at school today." "What happened?" Ah-han asked. Haenam recounted, he was turning the Gongo school upside down to find some guys. Apparently, someone was bullied yesterday, so he had to. It was then that Jo Ah-han remembered what the little boy Hanyul said yesterday, "Ah-han, you're really something. Do you know what Hee-young did today because of you?" She pondered, oh, so that's. Soyoung continued to help her with that thought, wow. Did Kang Hee-young really go after those bullies for you, Han? Upon hearing their serious discussion, Haenam exclaimed, stop it, you too. If Hee-young is really your boyfriend, then I'll give up on Young Dae-hai. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed from the room's door, I am indeed her boyfriend. It was the male lead with the disabled arm, standing at the door with a cool demeanor. His appearance left Haenam speechless, stammering as he called out the name of the school star, Hee-young. After the greetings, the conversation between the men began, Appa, have you figured out Han's weakness? Tell me, do you need money or her kidney? After Haenam's affectionate but logical questions, Hee-young responded with another question, who are you and why are you so close to Jo Han? What? Haenam was too shocked to understand the situation. Jo Han buried her head in her hands and sighed, Haenam is my younger brother. Hee-young looked awkwardly at them, regretting the misunderstanding from the previous day. Then Soyoung quickly pushed Haenam out to let the two patients talk. Haenam grumbled, fine, we'll talk later. Then he reluctantly went outside. The room became strangely peaceful, with the sky outside the window so blue. Hee-young asked, Han, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, she replied softly. He seemed embarrassed as he said, is your head still hurting? I didn't know things would turn out this bad. Jo Han weakly said, was it because of Haenam that you ignored me that day? Did you misunderstand me? Hee-young turned away awkwardly, saying, you said you were at home, and then later you came out and helped a drunk guy. How could I not misunderstand? Jo Han chuckled inwardly at his response. Hee-young continued, the girls we were with that day weren't that bad, they just liked to have fun. I didn't want them to spread rumors, so I acted that way. His remorseful expression made her feel sorry for him. He continued, so don't go out without me, it'll be dangerous because there are rumors that you're my girlfriend. Jo Han felt quite annoyed at her new role in this game, his girlfriend? His girlfriend? Stay calm, stay calm. She tried to calm herself down. Hee-young asked softly, but why did you do that? What? Jo Han asked him. Why did you run over to protect me? Hee-young inquired. Jo Han froze at his question. She couldn't say she just rushed to grab a piece of paper. So she pondered and came up with a simpler answer. She widened her eyes innocently, because I didn't want you to get hurt. Hee-young was deeply moved. Unable to contain his overwhelming emotions, he stood up abruptly, rushed out, and said, damn it. I'm going to buy some drinks. Jo Han was also stunned, watching his tall figure walking out. She couldn't grasp this strange feeling, wondering, what's going on? Why is Kang Hee-young acting like this? Outside the door, the male lead's face was as red as a tomato, trembling with excitement. The young man, Kang Hee-young, had become very different after that day, his behavior suddenly puzzling. Sometimes he would bring a lunchbox to Jo Han. She asked in surprise, did you pick it up on your way here? Hee-young replied, I bought it. Then the next day, with one remaining arm, he carried a basket full of fruit to her. She looked at the ripe golden pineapples and wondered how Jo Han could peel them. The following day, Hee-young persistently brought her a delicious meat sandwich. This drove Jo Han crazy, she thought he was like a mother bird bringing food to its chicks. Just when she was frustrated with her love life, another friend came to visit. It was Jong Eun-jae, entering with a bright smile, my liege, I'm bored. So Jong Eun-jae was staying in the room next to hers. Truly a touching story of friendship. Jong Eun-jae and Jo Han chatted happily, is your wound bad? No, just a scratch. Why haven't you been discharged yet? I don't know, the nurses take good care of me every day. Maybe they're keeping me here, because I'm too handsome. Jong Eun-jae's eyes seemed to avoid something, filled with sadness. Jo Han thought to herself, the supporting characters, you've suffered enough. Jong Eun-jae quickly grabbed a sandwich next to Jo Han and took a big bite. He praised the delicious taste, it reminds me of the kind of bread the old lady next door used to make when I was little. Jo Han felt confused with the diverse characters in this world, reminding herself, I should stop overthinking and try to understand this world with a normal mindset. Yeah, eat more, if you think it's good, she said, if you think it's good, it's good. Jong Eun-jae enthusiastically said, yeah, I'll finish it all. Suddenly, a cold voice spoke up, that's mine. It was Hee Young's voice. With a menacing look in his eyes, and several others beside him. Jane, what are you doing here? Hanyul asked. Jong Eun-jae waved to them. Oh? Kang Hee Young is here? Bringing your little posse along, too. Hello. The red-shirt member of the F4 used his voice for the first time, growling, you wanna die. This made the person next to him, the gentle green-haired one, have to restrain him. Hey, calm down, we're in a hospital. Hee Young's gaze still fixed on the hospital uniforms the couple in front of him was wearing, calculating the distance between them in millimeters. Then Hee Young coldly said, get out, that's mine. Jong Eun-jae still smiled challengingly, what if I don't want to? I guess you still have the habit of wanting things that don't belong to you, huh? Since when am I yours? Try it, you'll never be able to steal her away, no matter what. The mental duel ensued, and Jo Ah-han felt utterly exhausted. What are those fools talking about? I belong to myself, don't I? But anyway, I should resolve this situation first. Jo Ah-han spoke up slowly, stop it. Eun-jae is my friend, she thought it might be the right time to declare peace, I hope you two stop fighting. Hee Young was stunned, friend? He asked Jo Ah-han seriously, then what am I to you? Jo Ah-han hesitated, thoughts racing in her head, come on, think of something logical to say, something that main characters often say. Then the answer she chose to say was, of course, you're my only boyfriend. This sentence satisfied everyone present. Hee Young smirked satisfactorily, nodding towards Jong Eun-jae, you hear that? I'm her boyfriend, and you're just a friend. Jong Eun-jae laughed with effort, wow, congratulations. Then shall we go watch a movie and eat together? Because we're just friends. He quickly walked out the door, waving to Jo Ah-han, my liege, see you later. Don't hold Kang Hee Young's hand. Don't kiss anymore. Jo Ah-han sighed with relief, having managed to get one guy out of the hospital room. Jo Ah-han turned back to Hee Young with a serious expression, so why do you hate Jong Eun-jae so much? That seemed like a difficult and sensitive question, leaving Hee Young silent and the friends behind him stunned. Hanyul spoke softly, actually, we used to be classmates in middle school. Hee Young cut him off again, Lee Hanyul, stop. The quick-witted duckling intervened, alright, let's talk about something else. Without you, I'm so bored. She began recounting school stories to Jo Ah-han, blah blah. Meanwhile, Jo Ah-han pondered about the relationship between Jong Eun-jae and Kang Hee Young. In her analysis, their relationship seemed quite clear. It was a childhood friendship turned into enmity. This could be due to various reasons, the most likely being their shared affection for a girl. The girl might have died or gone abroad for studies. However, if she remembered correctly, they never mentioned anyone. So, this scenario seemed unlikely. The second hypothesis was, they both had an older brother figure whom they trusted and followed. In this case, perhaps that person had died or had a severe accident, and the two fools suddenly grew to hate each other or blamed each other. It could even be a mutual friend of the same age, but an older brother figure seemed more plausible. Jo Ah-han was so engrossed in solving the case that Soyoung, the duckling, had to call her, Jo Ah-han, are you even listening? She quickly laughed and said, oh, sorry, I was thinking about something else. What were you saying? The girl reminded her, did you hear me? We're dating. She held Hanyul's hand with joy. They seemed to have gotten together quickly. Jo Ah-han slowly widened her eyes and expressed her happiness, wow, congratulations. She clapped as if it were a special occasion. The couple immediately showed their affection. Soyoung, with loving eyes, said, he's the cutest, isn't he? Meanwhile, Hanyul invited her to the game room to play. They bid a joyous farewell before leaving, wishing happiness to Jo Ah-han and Hee Young. The other two also left together with enticing invitations. Wanna take photos? Karaoke? Now, only Jo Ah-han, Hee Young, and the remaining food were left in the room. Hee Young sat next to Jo Ah-han and started the conversation, what were you doing with Jong Eun-jae? Jo Ah-han replied, oh, nothing, we were just chatting while eating. Hee Young said angrily, did you share the sandwich I bought for that jerk? Jo Ah-han looked at him, noticing a change in his behavior. It seemed like he was more talkative now. Jo Ah-han chuckled, yeah, the sandwich you bought was delicious. Where did you buy it? Hee Young replied, I won't tell you. You'll find out after we're discharged. Jo Ah-han laughed at him, alright, let's go now. She was really impatient to send her boyfriend home. He seemed annoyed. Am I making you bored? Jo Wahan quickly said, no. He then said, well, then I'll stay with you. Jo Wahan sighed inwardly, why doesn't this guy leave? Oh well, buddy, I'm fine, go home. He Young hesitated, I think if I leave, Jong Eun-jae will come back, so I'll stay here. Jo Wahan felt sad thinking about her current situation, realizing that it would be a long time before she could return to reality. And so, 2 weeks passed quickly. Jo Wahan was discharged, and her mood improved slightly. Jo Wahan carried her school bag to school, playing the role of a serious 17-year-old girl, but the absence of any instructions made her very worried. She was almost desperate because of that and wondered, is something wrong with my real body in the outside world? Could it be because of the car accident? Or am I unconscious in the hospital bed? Or... A sense of unease flashed through her mind, causing her to freeze. Jo Wahan looked at herself through a reflective window, gloomy and melancholic. She trembled, wanting to cry, wondering, could it be that I've truly traveled to another world? Could it be that I'm already dead?